this thing of ours. Let's get this thing of ours going. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the one, the only Surviving the Knicks podcast. Give it up, y'all. Give it up. Give it up. Highly esteemed roster. Okay. Highly esteemed. Right. We got my man Wallstreet Hec in the building. What's going on?
Wallstreet. What's up? Let's play some real ball. Anybody that says we don't know what we're talking about when we're talking about the Knicks, tell them to get their three. Because I know Hec is retired, but if they got three, me, Ed, and Coach, we're ready. We'll stop talking.
Local gym.
We talk on the show. We talk on the show. After the show, no more talking.
I talk mad shit on the sidelines now. You ain't shit. Yo, Ed, bust his ass. Let's go get one bucket. Forget it. It's over for y'all. Don't
buckets.
That's it. Buckets. We got my man Ed Dollars in the building.
What's up, guys? I got my professional work outfit today. You know, right. I figured I'd class up the show tonight a little bit.
I hear you.
Courtesy of Stitch Fix.
Oh, Stitch Fix. Oh, I've been meaning to do that. They got the monthly one, right? It's the monthly get up.
It made me like 10 years younger.
Okay. Maybe a future sponsor.
Maybe.
Brought to you by Stitch Fix. Making old guys young again.
You lose 15 years.
I don't know about that, but I don't know no piece of clothing that'll do that for you, but whatever. There's a surgery in DR for that. But anyway, we got my man Coach B repping the BX tonight.
Yes.
All right.
Simplicity by Los, you know.
That's right. There we go.
Like,
that's right. Level of simplicity.
Shout out to the family, man. It's a family.
Shout out to the family. And just so y'all know, my man Coach is gonna be at the Garden on Monday. All right.
October versus New York. When you see me, you know, tag me.
That's right. And if you see him out, y'all watching, holla at him.
Coach, I want a layup, I want a free throw, I want a 3-point shot, and I want a half court. All in order.
we gonna see. I'm there for the kids. I'm there with the kids, you know. Oh, shout out to the Avenues girls varsity soccer team, boys varsity soccer team. They both won the championship. Boys win the championship, girls playing the championship tomorrow. Girls varsity volleyball. They're going to the state tournament again for like the third year, I think.
Shout out, baby.
Shout out to the middle team. You know.
All right. So fellas. Knicks are 3-1. Shout out to the Knicks.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, 3-1.
Enjoy it. Definitely enjoy it, because listen, enjoy it, because the Knicks are real this year. Keep telling people.
Legit.
But I think we gotta temper the level of expectations.
No temper.
I'm hearing like the Knicks are a powerhouse, and
yes, they are.
And I'm like, dude,
yes, they are.
Okay, hey, listen, I'm with it. I'm with it either way. But I feel like the Knicks are good. The Knicks are doing their thing. I felt like they should be 4-0 right now. They should have beat Orlando. But, Orlando caught them slipping. It was what it was. But then they turned around and beat, I feel like the mark of a good team is they beat all the bad teams. And then,
yes,
you make your way with the good teams. Mm-hmm. However, but you never lose to the bad teams, or you 95% of the time you beat the bad teams. Yeah. And that's what I'm hoping for the Knicks this year. So the last 3 games, Coach, what are your thoughts on the Knicks? Well, let's just do the first 4. Well, actually, we talked about the first one, so let's do the last 3. They went 2-1. All right. They lost to Orlando. They beat Orlando. They smacked Orlando. I don't even know how they lost them the second game. And then they put a nice beating on Philly because they deserved it, because they got the nerve to be in the division and need to know what's going on. So what are your thoughts, Coach?
the first game, you know, piece of cake. We went in there, fired up after a great home win, took care of business. The next game on like a day's rest, really, and then including travel, even though it's still on the East Coast, getting on the plane is getting on the plane. So Sunday, 7:00 game, interesting. Definitely Cole Anthony took advantage of his matchup, you know, like being a younger, quicker guard, you know, he caught fire early from three, and that helped him a lot. But more so, closing, we slept on Terrence Ross. Like, somebody misread the scouting report. Like, they should have known that, you know, he's good to be a microwave scorer. You know, he got 50 points in the game before. So, like, there was enough reason for us to, like, want to pay attention to him so he wouldn't close the game that way. But also, I feel like Mitch played too much in the fourth, and we needed to space the floor a little bit and, like, run it. Like, even though he does crash and grab rebounds, I think we needed more three-point shooting and more floor spacing, especially because we want to feature Julius Randle in those closing moments. So if we're not going to screen and roll, and where either Julius can spot up, like, Mitch doesn't spot up. So, you know, so we're going to have to, like, space the floor out a little better. And, yeah, I think, like, that was the issue to close that game. And also, you know, fine-tuning the situation, because we went into the Sixers game and Kemba got going early, you know, so, like, that should be the plan, you know, like, get Kemba going, and then we'll be able to let Julius Randle finish the games as far as, like, having a better second half, or, like, taking less shots in the first half. That way he can focus more in the second half, because Julius Randle is, you know, the taller player, you know, so with his length and, like, his skill set, he's going to get more easier baskets than someone like Kemba Walker, whether they're trying to get to the basket, you know, against a taller guy, or, like, just spotting up against longer defenders, because everyone in the NBA is, you know, 6'2" or better on the floor most of the time. And Kemba's, like, barely 6 feet. So those things, I think, going forward are going to, you know, be crucial that Tibbs watches or, like, focuses on. Overall, though, 3-1 is a good start.
Definitely. Wall Street, what's your thoughts, brother?
Now, I thought we looked great. I thought the ball is moving around. You guys seeing what's happening with Emmanuel quickly? Like, he started off hot and he hit kind of that wall that you expect, you know? And he's probably going to be dealing with that rule change. But if he can get into a rhythm on the pick and roll situations, if they go under, shoot the three. And if they go over, you got to roll it like Obi, you got to roll it like Mitch. So, you know, so, I mean, everybody's just so hot. We got Quickly. Watch Quick. I feel like I mentioned Quickly because he's warming up a little bit. And then, so I think that over the next couple of games, you're going to see him become even more of a factor. And yeah, that blowout to Philly speaks more to me than the loss to Orlando. The loss to Orlando is, like Hec said, you know, you're gonna get that 95% of the time against the bad teams, and it's really good to say. I mean, even including the West, it's like, how many teams can you really say are safe from the Knicks? Nobody wants to play the Knicks right now. I promise you. Nobody wants to play us right now. There's probably teams out there that think they're a little better than us, but it's not a night off. It is not a night off. So I don't know how many teams you can name. I watched Denver play last night. I feel like they could get it. I'm sorry. You know, I feel like they could get it. I saw Utah. I'm a little bit more worried about Utah. This is how confident I am. I'm looking at teams in the West already, because I know that there's only one team that is really safe. And they don't want to come to New York either. Nobody wants to come to New York right now, because we got rim defense. RJ is strong. Julius is strong, you know? So I'm really excited. Watch Quickly is warming up. Once he gets that second wind, he's going to start to, you know, be that Quickly that we saw first in the league. A lot of times you come in the league, you're hot, you have a couple of moves, and the league catches up to you. They start learning how to defend. So you have to add that counter move. And it looks like he's adding it, man. Too much excitement, and the ball is moving. And check out one last thing. The points are spread out. That is deadly. When you look at the all-time great teams, the points are spread out. You can't have one guy dropping 30 every night. When you got 4 or 5 guys dropping 12 to 15 points, 2 or 3 guys in the 20, 22 range, and the assist numbers is up, if you're a Knicks fan, you should be very, very excited.
It's hard to guard. You can't key one person.
Right. That's right.
Definitely good take, Wall Street. Like the spiciness. Hey,
Gracias.
what's going on, my brother?
Yeah. Listen, boys. First, yup. I'm going there. Listen, there's been a couple of shows already. I haven't really laid out the stats out for a little bit. I jotted them down this time around.
Let's do it.
We got 4 games, and the tide has severely turned. Let me talk to you for a second. Points. We are averaging 118.8 per game. That's 3rd in the league. Point differential, 9.0. We're 5th in the league. Field goal percentage, 45.5%, 3rd in the league. 3-point attempts, we are shooting 46%. We're 2nd in the league. 3-point percentage, 38%, 8th in the league. 3 points made, 17.5, number 1 in the league.
Tell them.
Ironically, defensive rating, 105.3. We're 14th in the league. Defensive rebounds, 37.0, 12th in the league. Steals, 8.5, 12th in the league. Okay. I don't know what's happening. Maybe Tibbs got a girlfriend. Maybe there's something in the water. But this team has flipped from last year to this year. We were like a top 5 defense and a middling offense. This year, we're a top 5 offense and an average defense. And I love it. I love every second of it. Watching the games over the last 3 games, obviously the Orlando game, whenever you have a back-to-back, it's hard to beat the same team twice. You guys mentioned it last time. I was very confident that we would be 4-0, and we still had an opportunity to beat Orlando. But that first win we dominated them in every sense of the word. We came in, we spanked them at home, and I just think that the Knicks were overconfident in the second game, bottom line. But the true test was yesterday's game. Philly. We haven't beat Philly in 5 years. We haven't beat Philly in 15 games head-to-head with them. We haven't beat Philly since 2017, man. And yesterday, you close your eye. We were the dominant force. They could not move us. I mean, there was a pluses everywhere. There's a couple minuses, but, Mitch held his own against Embiid. Mitch looked bulked up. He looked just as big as Embiid. Yeah, and Embiid only scored on free throws for that first half. He got his first make in the second half. RJ was locking everyone up, Randle was doing what Randle does. Tobias Harris, he's, let's be real. Tobias Harris and Randle are basically the same person. Tobias is a little faster and Randle's a little bit more grittier. But they were kind of holding on their own. But, Derrick Rose stole the show, and Kemba in the second half really laid it down with those threes. It was a thing to watch. Fournier is just a machine. And now you can see there's a big difference between having Fournier and having the last guy we had last year, and a huge difference between having Kemba and last year's point guard. Yesterday's game was balanced. We were spanking them. But the real key to yesterday's game was the bench. The bench, man. The bench mob, we got to find a name for them, because yesterday our starting unit was holding its own. We were slightly ahead. They were up. We were kind of battling them. When the second unit came in, the pace that they operated at, they pushed the pace quickly. Obi, Derrick Rose, Burks. I mean, one negative is that out of all these players, the person that pops out immediately is Obi. Obi is the fastest player on the court at all times. Yesterday, he only played 12 minutes. When Obi's playing like that, Tibbs likes to say, you let the game talk to you. You let the game dictate it. He needs to do the same. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I feel like, he has like already set substitutions. Sometimes you got to break away from that, because Obi needs to be averaging like 20 minutes a game, because he was all over the place. I mean, he really broke it open. Maybe not by points. He only had 9 points yesterday, but just moving up and down the court, quickly. Rose. I mean, that bench mob brought the lead up to 26. And then in the second half, Philly kind of made it respectable with their fake comeback. But the Knicks are legit. We can only talk about what we can talk about, right? So we had 4 games today. We beat the Celtics. We beat Philly, 2 of the powerhouses that we're supposed to play against. We beat a meandering team that's in the lottery, and we had a unfortunate back-to-back with them, and we thought we were too good for our britches, and we lost, or we barely lost.
Right.
So we're top 5 offense. We're an average defense. I can't believe Tibbs is really like, he's like a modern coach. He's an old school coach that adopted modern ways, and I'm loving every second of it.
I think it's only a matter of time before he finds a way to revert. But
maybe
love it right
maybe.
now. Just enjoy it right now. Just enjoy.
But you know what? This also has something to do with Leon Rose. It's not a coincidence that these guys have they hired an analytics person. It's not coincidence that they're the number 1 in 3 points made and top 5 in 3-point attempts. I mean, these guys are talking and they're really getting into Tibbs's ear. Tibbs is still trying to get on the defensive. He's still being hard as nails. He's still like yelling at everybody, still getting texts when they're up by 26, still playing Randle 35 minutes a game, still not playing Knox. But on the offense, these guys have loosened the reins, so you got to appreciate that.
Definitely. So we got some YouTube feedback, and so we got obviously we got Clearview Daniel. Holla, shout out to
Clearview.
You know what I'm saying?
Clearview don't want no smoke. When you coming out Monday, Clearview, don't want no smoke.
We got Clearview, and then we got Kanal. Kanal, shout out to Kanal. Kanal said, Monster Mitch needs the max. Do you agree, Ed?
Yeah, I do actually. I mean, the max for him is different than what the max is. You know, everyone's kind of saying the max. The max for him, for his where he came out, is like what, $48 million?
No, that's his max is like 80 something million.
No, they're not gonna pay him 80 something million. I don't know.
86 million or something like that. That's the
I don't know. I think he definitely
could get the mid, like Steph Curry didn't get the max his first time.
I think they're gonna. I think that for New York, they're gonna give him like 50 million over 4 years or something like that. Or even if I give him 60 million, I would do that. You know, in the summer we talked about all this, and we kind of said that 45 million was like the baseline. He's definitely above that. But yesterday's game is a good way of like processing what Mitch is. Look at Mitch's body. Look at how he played against Embiid. Mitch only had seven points and 6 rebounds and 1 block, but it was the offensive rebounds. Like he had like 4 or 5 offensive rebounds. He kept these pivotal possessions alive, and you can tell that he's not quite there yet. Like he doesn't have his wind back yet. He's not quite in shape. Right. So, you know, he just faced one of the best players in the league and held his own without really dominating the stat line. So I think, you know, provided he's right mentally, we got to lock him up. I don't know what that means, the max or 80 or 90 or 60 or 50. We got to make him happy, though.
Kanal said his max is 53 million for 4 years. I don't know.
That's what I would pay him.
Max, but
that's what I would pay him.
I would give that to him too. Wall Street, do the Knicks need Kemba to play all year like he played against Philly?
Nah, I think that's one of the beauties of this team. That's what we were talking about before, how the points are spread out, you know. So you know, he's gonna have his nights where he's a little bit more assist dominant. I mean, you know, does he have to, you know, drop 20 points? He should be hovering around there at an average. When we talk about spreading the points around, we mean I don't need you to give me 27 points a night, but I need you to be solid with the 18 to 21, 22 points. And, you know, do we need that? I mean, you know, I don't know. That's yet to be seen. Let's see how good Derrick Rose can play. Derrick Rose definitely is playing the role that he's supposed to be playing. His 3-point percentage is up, and when you get older, you got to be able to shoot the 3 and you got to be able to distribute. He's not the same MVP Derrick Rose. So that's one thing that I was looking for. So, you know, if Kemba can't give us numbers on a particular night, I'm hoping that Derrick Rose and Emmanuel quickly could pick up the slack. So, you know, that's a good thing that the answer is no. We don't need Kemba every single night. No, we don't. Okay, but it's great to have.
Awesome. Okay, Coach. So we got the next 3 games coming up, Coach, right? We got Chicago, New Orleans, and Toronto. And then we got on a podcast night, we got Indiana as well. So it's the next 4 games. Where do you see the Knicks? Where do you see the Knicks finishing those four games? What do you think their record will be after?
Chicago is a tough one, because they're hot. They got Lonzo Ball, who I felt like we should have went after a little bit harder. Again, we got guards that fit Tibbs' system. So I'm always, at this point in the season, both teams are hot. Julius Randle has a decent matchup. I think like Patrick Williams might be guarding him. He's a tough defender, but like he's still young and he's not as physical. So I'm gonna run with the Knicks against Chicago, and then Toronto is another interesting one because they got 2 solid 2, 3, and 4 defenders in Scotty Barnes and OG Anunoby. But I'm not gonna say 3-0 because I said 3-0 last time and it didn't turn out in my favor. I'll go 2-1, and definitely the Pacers should be a win, especially how we dominated them. And
3-1.
3-1.
3-1. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, the only one that really you guys were accurate. The only one that really Ed Dallas said 2-2. I was like, damn, like have some faith.
No, I'm talking about for the next few games. We're gonna go.
No, but you and Wall Street picked 2-1.
Oh.
I forget which game y'all picked that they didn't to win.
I thought I said 3-0, but
yeah.
Yo, check the tape. I said 4-0. Now I'm gonna have to rewind you, man.
Okay, I don't know.
Definitely
Don't let that footage push
the Indiana game is a win, and the Toronto game is a win. So Chicago, that's the one. That's gonna be the exciting one, especially because they're undefeated.
Okay.
2 highlight teams.
Ed, by the way, Clearview says to Ed, my real excuse is I have my daughters. My fake excuse is I'm still shaking a little in my space boots in his Dr. Evil voice. I
believe that. I believe that.
Listen, Clearview, you gotta bring the daughters with you. Okay, don't worry about it. Man. Bring the daughters with you.
It's New York forever.
We got juice boxes for them. Don't worry about it. So, fellas, question. This is a general question. Is it too early to call the Knicks a powerhouse? Okay, I'm hearing that a lot right now. And I kind of feel like it's I don't know, it's a little premeditated because I don't know. Listen, man. Listen, Ed, let's start with you, brother. What are your thoughts?
I think you're a hater, Hector. Just.Hek. All right? It's never too early to call the Knicks a powerhouse. I was calling them a powerhouse last year. You gotta judge these games by the games that have been played. All right. We only played 4 games, and I just spouted out like the stats. We are heavy offensive. We've changed our level of play. We've added 2 good components with Kemba and Fournier. We've unleashed the 3. Our first year players got better quickly in Obi. And now there's a dynamic going on. There's a dichotomy in the way we play with the offense and the defense. I'm sorry, the offense and the bench. The bench is going in and pushing the pace. Our bench could be one of the best benches in the league. You can't necessarily say that for certain stats, but that could be possible. Our bench, Derrick Rose is conceivably, he could be our best player. And the other guys are just like following suit, and they're running and gunning, they're pushing it up. If Tibbs can find more time for them, it could be a real problem. Julius Randle still stung by the fact that he had a bad playoff against the Hawks. And he's trying to show the rest of the league that it's no aberration, that he's worth every dollar that he paid for. One thing about Julius, and not to nitpick in the last 4 games, one thing about Julius is he still gets a little stuck in his ways with hero ball. He still tries to do a little too much. He still brings up the ball. He still holds the ball. And sometimes when they need a shot, he feels like he has to take it. Let the game tell you what needs to be done. Pass the ball. Let the other guys bring up the ball. You know, be you, but also compliment the other guys. You know, last week I said that RJ is the key, in my opinion. And maybe I have to readjust my expectations of RJ. You know, Coach B kept on saying that RJ may not be an offensive threat, an offensive weapon the way we thought he could be, like 20 points per game. Just like last year, he's starting off a little slow. I think he's pressing a little bit. I think he wants to show that he is a 20-point scorer and is not quite falling for him. You know, on defense, the first 3 games, he was playing fantastic. Yesterday, he was getting burnt a lot. You know, there was a lot of threes in the corner that was kind of like, you know, and that was his man, and they were just jacking him up. So I think he's overthinking the game right now. I'm hoping the next 4 games, he kind of like calms down. And you know what? Yesterday was a test. Philly was a test. And guess what? The Bulls tomorrow is going to be another test because the Bulls are 4-0. I mean, eventually, if we keep on winning, what are you going to call us? You got to call us something. I like the word powerhouse.
Hey, that game, by the way, should be on TNT.
Hell yeah.
Hell of a game.
Lonzo Ball, man. I still wish we had him. I think our offense would be that much better with Lonzo Ball because it's not like Kemba and Derrick Rose are really breaking down the defense. You know what I'm saying? No. They're doing the same thing that the guys that Lonzo basically does, but shooting at like, you know.
Coach
B, you don't like Lonzo?
Yeah. No, Lonzo's great. But again, like the way Tibbs lets it go within his offense, like it's just not a good fit. To say we're a powerhouse, like we made the playoffs last year. Like we didn't even win. We just made the playoffs. So I think like we got to make the playoffs and make it to the second round, maybe make it to the conference finals definitely make it to the conference finals before you say you're a powerhouse. But are they a team that's out? Yes. Are they top 3, top 5 most exciting teams in the league? Yes. But, you know, like that powerhouse, like, you know, I reserve that for like, you know, the defending champs, you know, maybe the Lakers when they're playing good and that other team, you know, that's like down the way. I'm not gonna that team in Brooklyn. I don't even
Brooklyn.
That 1-3 team in Brooklyn.
Yeah. You know, they got the right amount of talent. They was anyway. Back to the Knicks. Definitely, it's tough because Julius Randle is leading our team in assists currently. Like the way again Tibbs wants to run things, like it's easier that way. And unfortunately, you know, for the guards, we don't need them to pass the ball. We really need them to like take advantage of their opportunities and score quickly. You know, and no pun intended. You know, we got 3 guards that do that. Well, and then you got Fournier, you got Alec Burks. So all these guys that touch the ball and shoot quick, shoot efficiently. You know, shoot with the quick trigger. And RJ kind of falls to the wayside. Having Taj to make it key. Having Obi play more minutes, like you mentioned, that's what helps keep the game fun. It keeps us flowing, man, and it's exciting to watch. But you know that powerhouse statement, like we got to be like number 1 in points, you know, like top 5 in assists, top 5 in 3-point percentage, and then you know, maybe we could revisit that. Like, Coach,
we're number 3 in points.
Nah, we got to be number 1. You gotta be number
1 in 3 points made.
Especially like when like the defense took the hit the way it has so far. You know, yeah, we gotta all across the board offensively. So points, assists, and you know we got the percentages sort of close. We got to be top 5 on that end if we're not gonna be a strong defensive team like we were last year.
Okay, Wall Street. What's your thoughts, brother?
I'm with Coach, man. We gotta taper it down a little bit. We got a lot of reason to be excited, but you know, we gotta go into Milwaukee and beat those guys. We gotta go into Phoenix and beat those guys. I'm excited to see what's going on in Brooklyn. Let me tell you, because of this show, I try to dedicate a lot of time to watching my Knicks games. You know, I'm not trying to, you know, seem like anything, but I try to stay real busy, you know, and staying real busy, it's hard to catch a lot of games. But I'm making an effort to watch Brooklyn games, and not because I'm a Brooklyn fan or I'm interested, because I don't see what everybody sees. And you know what? I saw some Brooklyn games, and you know what I could tell you? It's very easy to score against these guys. And for all of the great offense, it is very easy to score against them. It is way too easy to score against Brooklyn. So if we're not calling the Knicks a powerhouse, then, you know, I wouldn't use anything near that term to describe Brooklyn. And I'm going to tell you right now, Brooklyn is not a playoff team. Even if they did have a great season, they are not a playoff team. This game is played on the offensive side and on the defensive side. And Ed is pretty good at numbers. Ed, that's 50-50, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just making sure. So, yeah.
But I think the Nets are going to win the championship.
Got to play defense.
So real quick, so Kanal, his prediction for the next 4 games, he predicts 4-0. He said if they lose, it'll be due to Chicago, but he feels like New Orleans, Toronto, and Indiana are a win. Daniel and Kanal said that the Knicks are a powerhouse, with Kanal adding that the from the front office to the G League, the Knicks are solid, and that's a powerhouse. And Daniel said, in this moment right now, the Knicks are a powerhouse. So why not?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Why not? Hey, listen,
I like it.
Plus, we didn't define powerhouse. You know what I'm saying?
I like it.
I mean, you know,
I like
it. It is what it is. So, needless to say, you know, positives and things that the Knicks need to work on. Choose one. You don't gotta do both. Choose one. Pick the one that you want to go on, and then we go from there. And let's start with you, Ed. What positives or things the Knicks need to work on? Which one do you want to go with?
You know, I kind of like screamed out the positives and stuff like that. So let's talk about some of the things that they got to work on.
Okay.
Their assists, man, you know, still, I feel like sometimes the offense is still a little clunky. You know, they bail themselves out with a lot of threes now, but the ball's not swinging a lot. There was a preseason game where Julius didn't play, and you know, my man Kevin Knox played, and not because Kevin Knox played, but just because no one was kind of dominating the ball was flying everywhere. And I feel like when Julius is in there, and I love Julius, I think he's the right guy for the Knicks. I think he's our anchor, our bucket getter. But again, as I mentioned earlier, I feel like he holds the ball a little too long. He feels like he needs to do everything. You know, he needs to be the distributor. He needs to bring up the ball. He needs to take the last shot. He needs to do everything. And when the chips are down, he feels he has to be that guy. And I think that messes up the flow of the offense. And also he kind of like, without bullying them, the other players feel the need to pass him the ball, even to the detriment. You know, he'll come out to the 3-point line and they'll pass him the ball when he can just kind of fight to get in the post position or something like that. I think they should change that. I think that Tibbs needs to sit down with Julius and be like, hey, Julius, you're our guy, man. You got the money. You're going to get the shots. We're going to make it happen. Let the other guys play. Let the flow of the offense occur without you holding the ball and doing too much. Play your role, and your role is the guy that's going to score and do a lot of the other things, but you don't have to do everything. You know what I'm saying? I think RJ needs to play a little better. You know, I still have a lot of faith in RJ. I have a lot of expectations, but I feel like he's letting the new guys kind of overshadow him. You know what I'm saying? And he's kind of forcing things up, as I mentioned earlier. He's still taking a lot of shots. I think he's taking a lot of the wrong shots. I think he may be taking too many threes and not going to the basket enough. He had 2 beautiful looks at the basket where he drove in with the left hand. He's left-handed, right? Yep. He went one with the left and one with the right. He did well. I think last year was a problem for him. He had a issue finishing shots. I think he needs to continue attacking the rim. You know, RJ's a big guy. He's 6'6", muscular. He's got a Jimmy Butler frame. Even, you know, he's a little taller than Jimmy.
He's beefed up. He's definitely.
Yeah, he needs to start using that and start playing a little bully ball from the guard position instead of kind of like sitting back and letting the ball come to him at the 3-point line and firing the threes and working his way from the 3-point in. He needs to attack. And I think things will loosen up for him. I think Tibbs is doing well as a coach. You know, I'm shocked too. I do think that Kemba should not be the closing point guard, and I think that Tibbs is kind of realizing that. But other than that, those are little, nicks that I think that they could enhance.
Okay. Wall Street.
Interesting take. Yeah. Some
Wall Street. What's your thoughts? What you gonna pick? Positives or things they need to work on? What you got?
Oh man, mine is a little bit of both. Is one thing that fits that category in both ways. Is positives because it's things that we're going to work on, and that's that, and that's touching up on the bench again. Alec Burke, and he's kind of like he's a pillar. Alec Burke is doing all the small things. If you really just watch him, he really kind of disappears in the defense, but he's there making things happen. But the real improvement that's gonna get us that bench mob status, that status, like Ed said, that we need a name for them. Well, they got to do something first, and you do something, and then you get a name. But it's gonna be that quickly Obi connection, man. I'm hoping that we see it. I thought that we're gonna see little glimpses of it, but quickly could shoot off the dribble, so that's gonna keep the defense up. That's gonna allow Obi to slip, and when Obi slips, watch out because he's fast and he jumps high. And one more thing about Obi, he added a move. He added it's just a bump layup. It's a finger roll. So he goes up high like he's gonna dunk. He gets the contact and he jellies the layup. Oh man, it is so sweet. And he added that, and it's dangerous because as a defender, you gotta watch out because he could dunk on you. So he's able to add that where he can come up with the ball, take the bump, and jelly the layup. So yeah, so the thing that we're gonna improve on is our positive, because we're gonna improve there because these are young players and they hungry. So, and I'm gonna be looking out for that for the next couple of games. I want to see it happen now. We want everything now. So watch out for the quickly Obi connection. That could be deadly. It could be good for the Knicks.
Shout out to Obi too for that little handle that he's developed. He's got a little move that takes people that didn't scout that. He brought that new dimension. I mean, it's not great, but he had nothing last year. Now he's got that little move, and he's caught a couple people. I've seen in the preseason he caught somebody. He caught somebody in the Philly game. He didn't finish the layup, but again, it's development, and he's trying to develop into, it is what it is. Coach.
Quick rebuttal to Ed.
Yes.
All the smoke. Let's go.
RJ cannot attack the basket. It's hard for anyone to attack the basket. One, because he's not the first option when they hand it off after they bring the ball over half. He's probably like the third person, so he's automatically in the quarter to begin with. Second, because if he's sharing the floor with Mitchell Robinson doesn't space it. No one's guarding Mitchell Robinson outside of the paint. So that help defense is always going to be there. So should he get a little stronger and find the spot? Sure, but ideally the driving kick is always there, and he just has to make more of his spot up opportunities, and I think that'll come as he gets more comfortable with Fournier and Kimball on the floor. Yeah. And it's not like having Derrick Rose on the floor for the majority of those minutes where they got the continuity. So, building that chemistry is going to be important. And, Julius Randle, Mr. Jump Pass, he's leading the team in points. The team in points, rebounds, and assists. So,
you said Mr. Jump Pass?
Yeah. So,
that could be his sneaker. That could be his sneaker, the Jump Pass.
Jump Pass.
Gosh. Hopefully, he does what Ed says, and Coach Tibbs is watching, they either take him off the floor a little bit, so everyone else can touch the ball, or, he's a little bit more patient. We're like, all right, I don't got to do nothing this possession. I don't have to have an actual impact on the ball in this possession because they got guys that's been stars in the league. Kimba has been a star. Derrick Rose has been a star. So it's Fournier has been a featured player. So they know how to get, opportunities, not just for themselves, but for the other guys on the floor, because they've been the primary ball handler. They've been the primary option on their teams, whether it be for a night, for 6 months, but they all have that experience. So Julius Randle, chill out just a little bit. But on the positive side, it's it's crazy to think that we traded offense for defense in a sense, because the defense didn't go all the way to the bottom. Offense was in the bottom last year, and the defense didn't go all the way to the bottom, but we still kind of traded a little bit. And to be top 3 in scoring at this point, in the season is is a great positive, and we have no business of slowing down as long as people continue to build that that chemistry together, and and get more comfortable with one another, and being able to find RJ so he can shoot 40% like he did last year. Like there's no reason that he doesn't shoot that same percentage again once everyone gets comfortable. His total points I'm not worried about because he is tasked with the assignment of guarding the best player. But to piggyback what these guys said, man, Obi's he's that piece. He needs 20 minutes or so, 20 minutes plus. He has a lot of glue guy intangibles. He runs the floor well. He gets those quick baskets. He's able to finish through contact. He's gonna catch and shoot every now and again. So like all those intangibles like require him to play some of Julius Randle's minutes, just because the offense is gonna flow easier, and a lot of things just go better when he's on the floor. That lob, man, it's the easiest thing when Obi catches that lob, and it's like, who doesn't want those easy baskets on a consistent basis? And then when the game starts to crack down, it starts to get a little difficult. Julius Randle, whether you're prepared or not, like you get back in there. I don't want to hear, "Oh, I'm cold because I've been sitting on the bench for a long time." You're a professional, man. When you get on the floor, you handle your business. Like especially coming off the bench with the fresh legs, like I've been sitting for a while. Like I'm energized. Okay, boom, go to the basket. Okay, hit a quick shot. Like you don't have dead legs. You can continue to rebound as hard as you can. Like definitely pulling back from Julius Randle to let everybody else do their thing is key. But being top 3 in scoring, man, that's phenomenal.
Yeah. One other thing that I noticed out of all these games is the crowd. The New York, last year, like looking at these games without a crowd, like this year, the crowd's been amazing. Kemba's personality, like his smile. To me, he's one of those guys that wears Timberland boots the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Like just he's a New Yorker with the hat slanted to the corner. And Obi's personality, every time he goes up for a shot or a dunk, huge smile. Those are the things that enamor fans, man. Like this is turning out to be a special season, not just because of the play on the court, but the actual players on the team.
Oh, definitely. So definitely. So Daniel definitely agreed. He basically echoed what you guys said in terms of Randle handling the ball less. He said Obi definitely worked on his game and upgraded his confidence. Here's something that he said for the next 4 games that I don't know how y'all gonna feel about this, but he said that he hates to admit it, but that the Bulls and the Pacers are gonna hand the Knicks L's. That the next 4 games, the Knicks are gonna go 2-2. I don't know.
Pacers have Duarte playing heavy minutes. Like he's a rookie. He don't got nothing on anybody.
That's the guy we should have got instead of Grimes.
Shout out to Dominicans. Shout out to Dominicans in the league. Here we go.
He's nice.
Dominicano.
He's nice.
He's good.
That's the guy who we should have targeted.
You don't want Grimes, and Grimes don't play, and then we did get in the game. He made his first shot. Come on now.
Yeah, but Duarte is 6'7". He's a 20-point scorer. The Pacers do a great job of getting. They get the worst draft positions. You know what I'm saying? They always get like those.
Because
they win, and they always pick the diamonds in the rough all the time.
After Kawhi.
Well, you know what the Knicks should have did? They should have traded Mitchell Robinson, and they should have got LaMelo Ball when they had the chance. You
gotta hang that story up too, man.
You see LaMelo Ball? I'm sorry.
They should have traded Mitch.
You see LaMelo Ball this year? You see LaMelo Ball this year?
You just said you'll give Mitch Robinson.
Come
on now.
I said,
but there's a difference between giving Mitch $50 million and giving LaMelo Ball $250 million. LaMelo Ball is going to get $250 million when it's his time.
He's not even staying in Charlotte. Charlotte got him on a loan. Let me keep it buck.
Don't worry about it. He'll be a Knick by the time it's all over and done.
Oh, no.
Seriously, I don't know. Listen, man. I don't know. The LaMelo Ball is looking. He's balling. Moving on to NBA news. I'm hoping you guys have been reading the NBA as a whole right now because there's a lot going on. Ben Simmons checked into therapy, and then he came back to practice. I'm not sure what they're doing with him. The Lakers are off to a slow start. The Russell Westbrook experiment isn't is working, but it's like,
it only works when LeBron's not playing.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, true. Very true. There's a lot going on. So, fellas, are there any stories that you guys want to address in particular? You guys, any one of you guys can go first.
I believe
that
the Lakers are too talented of a team to like let this band of like 6 Hall of Famers or so just break up before the season's over. If everyone just got in the gym and just put shots up, like, yo, we don't need to run no plays. We don't need to go over any offense. AD, get back on the floor, man. You always hurt. But like, if everyone just worked on catching and shooting the way Melo plays, like, it'll save them so much time. Like, yeah, Dwight and DeAndre Jordan can't be on the floor together. That makes sense. But yeah, Russ gotta just take a couple more jump shots. Like, be patient, because the game is gonna flow so natural for them, because one-on-one they could beat anybody. Even if they are a step slower because maybe they're a little older, they can still get by their guy one-on-one. So at that point, it's just about not being being comfortable not dominating the ball. Again, you guys can still catch lobs. You can still slip screens and get easy layups that way. It has nothing to do with running the offense at this point. It's all about changing, I guess, their 20 years of dominating the ball and becoming more so of a slasher. Like Russ played the 2 in college. This should be more of a natural thing for him. But coming into the league and playing so long with the ball in his hands, I guess it's a tough adjustment. But he should be able to make it. And the way he plays on defense, that's really what's going to keep him in games long term. Like him and LeBron playing defense when it matters most will stop most teams in the league. And shout out to Melo, man. Them 28 points was fun.
Shout out to Melo, past Moses.
So maybe Russ should come off the bench, or they should severely stagger LeBron and Russ. LeBron said he wanted Russ to be Russ, but LeBron still wants to be LeBron. LeBron is their pseudo point guard. He always wants the ball in his hands. The only way it's going to work is Russ starts, comes out when it's 8 minutes left in the first quarter, and then let LeBron cook. And then LeBron comes out, then Russ comes in. So he becomes a de facto point guard on a staggered basis, or straight up have him come off the bench. And yesterday they played somebody, and
San Antonio.
Yeah. Although their defense was terrible, but AD and Russ went off. Russ was the reason why they won. So can it work? Yes, I definitely think it could work. And I foresee them in the Western Conference Finals, and I can see them in the finals, but it's going to be a lot of bumps and bruises along the way.
Okay.
Shout out to Randle, man. Never.
Golden State 4-0. Are they legit? The Bulls 4-0. Are they legit?
Wall Street. Wall Street, what you got?
I had a little question, right? Did Ben Simmons just get paid by doing all of this stuff? Because he got off the court and Philly looks bad. So
yeah, he did.
I think Ben Simmons just got paid. So
the first year.
Well, there's 2 ways to increase your value, right? There's one way is to be on the court and to show people you can play. Another way is to be off the court and show how good you are because how bad your team is. So Philly looks a little disjointed.
Well, they did build the team to his strengths, or at least that's why they got rid of Jimmy Butler, because they felt like they needed the ball more in Ben Simmons' hands. And that was a move that Embiid was strongly against. He was like, why keep Tobias Harris when Jimmy Butler was the one that was carrying us through the playoffs? And so, I mean, it's a move that kind of came back to bite them, essentially, because you gave up Jimmy Buckets, who was down to stay in Philly, even though he was even saying, yo, it's weird over here. And he didn't want to call out Ben Simmons like he did Karl Anthony Towns and Wiggins. You know what I'm saying? He stayed low key. It was like, yo, there's weird stuff going on here, but I'm down to stay. And look what happened. Philly looks weird. They look disjointed because the guy that was supposed to be the focal point of their offense is not there. So now they're trying to reorganize and reshuffle. And Embiid, you know, like they're not built around Embiid. They're built around, you know, if you're built around Embiid, what are you going to do? Get shooters, right? You're going to spread the floor so he cooks inside because no one can stop him inside at all. But what they do, they got bodies, and now he's got to be the spacer, which is insane. Which is why Shaq has an aneurysm every time he watches a Phillies 76er game, because he is probably the most dominant force inside in the NBA outside of Jokic, and he's forced to shoot 17, 18 feet out.
Shout out to
crazy. Word. It's crazy. So I don't know. Personally, I'd rather talk about the other Ball brother in Chicago. Shout out to him. He has he's done great. Okay, he's not scoring the points, but he is running that offense to perfection. Zach LaVine is enjoying one of his best starts ever because he's got a guy and he can play off the ball. And this is, you know,
so
he's playing off the ball, and he's just like, yo, you know, you create the offense, you do what you got to do, and everybody's just revolving around that. And it is beautiful.
You know who I feel bad for out of all of that? Kobe White.
Yeah, he's odd man out. He got to play two guard. But he's probably more of a two guard anyway.
He's not a good player. You know why I never liked Kobe White? When in the draft, his teammate Cam Johnson was drafted number 13, and Kobe was like, he got drafted what? And Cam Johnson now as a pro is a better player than Kobe White.
Nah, but he said the excitement. You think he was faking the excitement?
No, he was excited for him. He was excited for him. Yeah,
was he excited for him? He doubted. He was like, "What? That's crazy."
Nah, he didn't say it like that. He said,
yes, he did. Check the tape. Check the tape. Check the tape.
I'm pretty sure he cool.
Yo, back to your Lonzo point. You know, I was hearing another podcast, and there was a Bulls beat writer that was talking about Lonzo, and he originally thought that Lonzo wouldn't fit well because of the way he plays his offense. But he totally neglected the fact that Lonzo is a defensive point guard. You know, he plays in D's the best position on the court, and big, small, doesn't matter what the size is. And that defensive presence is shattering. You know, the Bulls are a top 5 defensive team this year, which is amazing because they got DeRozan.
Really?
And that's why they're 4-0, because they're not averaging that many points.
No.
Their points aren't killing it.
They're grinding it out.
Their defensive rating is killing it. So that's attributable to Lonzo right there. And he's still shooting like close to 40%. He's averaging like six assists a game, and he's averaging 14, 15 points a game. And he has a connection with Zach LaVine. Zach is likes him. And he kind of breaks up the Rosen Zach dynamic. So, you know, shout out to Lonzo. Always liked him. I think it's fantastic, man.
Yeah, it's a credit to player development and being patient, because he
wasn't patient. He moved around a lot.
He wasn't moved. He was moved. He didn't move.
Oh, he was off the ball like LA. Oh man, the whole LeBron.
LA gave up on him. Yeah, that was a LeBron move. That was LeBron.
And he got to the Pelicans where like they want him to play off the ball, and like he spotted it up most of the time, and when he was out there,
that wasn't.
He fixed that jump shot, which is amazing. Remember, it was like a crooked, you know. He fixed it.
He has opportunity, you know, to run the show again the way, you know, kind of the way LaMelo does it.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Very, very great IQ, great vision from the two Ball brothers.
Yo, I got one. What's going on with James Harden, man? James is not looking so good.
He is the most overrated MVP of all time.
Wow.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Come on, man.
He's a regular season player. Listen, the thing that got him MVP, they just removed that from the NBA. If you the pump fake that got him to the line, those extra free throws, they just took that out. It's over for him. This dude hangs out in strip clubs and eats chicken wings, and he looks like it. Hold on,
man. Like how hard is it, to like take 28 shots per game, be your team's only scoring option, and still get 30? Like
only a coach. He did a lot of that. He did a lot of that nonsense under D'Antoni, right? I can't even. A lot of this nonsense was only D'Antoni. Only D'Antoni would allow something like that.
Everyone is still game planning for this man, right? Like, yo, this is the guy. This is the person on the team we need to stop, and nobody did it. Like
his MVP season was historic.
Absolutely.
Rivaled Michael Jordan.
Listen.
Absolutely, but check this out.
Can you name Michael? Right?
That type of energy,
Wasn't
like
it better than Michael Jordan's?
Listen, the only player to give every team in the only player to give every team in a single season 30. Like that speaks for itself.
Can you name another MVP that can hang his hat on being great at one aspect of the game? Can you tell me 3 things that James Harden is absolutely great at?
What Steve Nash did?
Steve Nash is an all-time assist leader.
Yo, Steve,
he did that.
Man.
James Harden got his. I think he averaged like 11 assists that MVP season. He averaged 8 or 11. Like, he got it. He listen.
His efficiency
at the end
was
of the
crazy
day,
that year.
What happened now? The overrated MVP part.
You got one shot. You got one shot left. You got one shot left, right? And you got Kawhi Leonard is on offense. Can you name one person that you would take after James Harden to be guarding that? On the list of MVPs, if you got one shot left, let me rephrase that. When you think of all the MVPs, defensively, he's easily the worst. I mean, okay, you're going to call Steve Nash out. All right.
Yes,
thanks. Come on, man. Listen, all right, listen, coach, listen, this statement, we might call it a hot take, but listen, it's going to age well because Brooklyn has an entire season to play, and James Harden is going to be playing alongside one of the greatest scorers of all time, and it's going to be a dud.
Clip this.
I will tell you this. James used to average 34 points a game 2 years ago.
I think it's like all time.
And right now he's averaging 17 points a game. Last year he averaged 24, and the year before that, 24. Yeah. He's 32 entering 33. Is it possible that age has creeped up on him? And, shooting guards of his size break down a little faster than other types of players. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, I want the Nets to win. I want New York to have a championship, and I want KD and James to have a ring. I'm not a Nets fan. I'm a Knicks fan, but I want New York to win something. I want
the parade. I don't want them to win.
I want the parade. But he's averaging 17 points a game. His PER is 15, which is basically average, and he dropped from a 30 PER to a 15 in a matter of 2 years. That's just strange. It's like, is he hurt? Is he out of shape?
Usage rate, man. His usage is down. More importantly,
it's not that down though. It's not that down.
I don't know.
Let's go back to
it might be mentally. Early on, honestly though, I think it might be mentally.
He has no mentality.
Let's think about early.
He doesn't look like he's evolved. Like he's looking like he's just going through the motions. He might be working himself back into shape. We don't know.
Maybe he's not happy.
He could be interested, but when he was on the floor with Russell Westbrook and KD, who was really like the more facilitator? The more
he was
obvious.
Exactly. Was he a 6 man?
We're talking about today,
man.
So we're not talking about then. We're talking about today.
So his IQ has. I'm finish my point. His IQ has always been solid, right? Even on playing on those bad Rockets teams, and taking those million step backs, because he felt like he had to shoot. He just needs some time, to fit back into
Coach, you ever sit your kids down and say, "Hey, kids, we're gonna work on this step back where if the defense comes anywhere near you, you splatter yourself on the floor like a pancake and hope the ref gives you
never. That's why he don't practice that. He don't do it as much now. Why? Because he got another high level score with him. He got
Wallstreet's on fire right now. He said, "You ever teach your kids do a step back?"
You got something to smack their face on the floor when the ref hears it. He blows the whistle. It's automatic.
That's the smoke screen, man. That's the smoke screen.
I hope it's not age though. I hope I hope his body maintains so he can like increase his efficiency.
Hey, can I tell you one more thing? Can I just say one more thing? Every weekend, this guy is out there with Lil Baby and Lil Tajay and Lil something, and he's in the strip club. You know when Shaq says barbecue chicken, this dude is actually eating barbecue chicken in the strip clubs, and it shows.
Yo,
I can't wait.
Listen, fellas,
I can't wait for
fellas. This was awesome. Yo, Wall Street. You out of control right now. So, fellas, this is quick note. Daniel said the 3-point fouls change took away Harden's talent faster than Space Jam took Barkley's talent. and then Daniel agreed with Ed. He said, "Word, it's very possible that age is starting to catch up. Looks like he's having a tough time staying in shape as well." So he might have been agreeing with both Wall Street and Ed at the same time. But needless to say,
I hope it's not that.
It's early. It's only 3-4 games.
Yeah.
We gotta let the season breathe. Wall Street, you are crazy for that. You ever teach your kids to step back and if they can't got nothing,
Splatter on the floor.
Splatter on the floor.
I'm gonna have them message you, man. Yo, give me they're all gonna message you.
Yo, fellas, this has been a great show. I want to shout out Daniel for from taking advantage, from being a part of the show via the internet. I want to thank Kanal for his insight into what the Knicks need and whether they're a powerhouse. I want to thank my brothers, Wallstreet Hec, Ed Dollars, and Coach B for a great show.
We want to thank Just.Hek for making it happen.
Yes. I appreciate y'all. Yo, this Harden take, I think this is going to be a clip by itself.
They're super productive, man.
It's great. With the straight face, too. Yo, Coach, you can't be letting Wall Street disrespect you like that.
I like Harden's game, but yeah, it's still the home team over here. You see the background.
Got you.
Let's go.
You know what I'm saying? Fellas, great show. You know what I'm saying? Check us out. Yo, follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. Subscribe on YouTube. Click that bell for the subscribe button. We appreciate y'all for watching. Yo, man, take care. Be safe out there. Have a great night. And
hi, boys.
Follow these guys, man. Follow these guys. Follow these guys. Follow these guys.
New York forever. Surviving the Knicks, babe.
That's right. New York forever. Go New York. Go New York. Go.